My sister-in-law called me a brat for not thanking her for babysitting her own kids, but we found out what she's planning, and it is completely unhinged. My brother surprised me 6 months ago by planning a trip to Scotland for my birthday due to tight finances. It was just the two of us, which I was okay with since at the time he and I were close. For context, my brother is married and has 2 kids under 6. His wife had said she was happy for me and didn't mind holding down the fort for a week while we were on the trip. She and I have never been close and, quite frankly, just tolerate each other for the sake of keeping the peace. She's never been a fan of how close my siblings are with each other. It all comes down to growing up in different family dynamics in my opinion. Anyway, the trip was amazing and I loved every second of it. I was on such a high when we came back that I thanked my brother so many times for doing this for me until he told me to shut up. Lol, I thought everything was good, and we resumed our lives normally. Imagine my surprise when I got a text 3 days after coming back from my sister-in-law telling me off and calling me rude and ungrateful because I didn't send her a text thanking her for babysitting on her own and having to do everything around her house for a whole week while I had fun with her husband. I was flabbergasted. This is the same woman who smiled and told me to have fun on my trip and now she's berating me for not thanking her for doing me a favor by taking care of her kids for a week. Am I crazy or is that totally irrational and just weird? I told her I'm not sure taking care of your own children is babysitting or doing someone else a favor and she blew up at me calling me a terrible ungrateful brat and saying that I never show appreciation for anything. I was so confused by all of this and called my brother, but he doubled down and told me the trip wouldn't have been possible had she not volunteered to take care of their kids so we can have fun and that I should be thanking her for doing it for me. I was and still am confused about why I need to thank a mother for taking care of her own kids. Anyway, to keep the peace I told her thanks for doing it but she decided I wasn't being sincere and convinced my brother to go low contact with me. My siblings and my mom were confused by all of this but kept telling me to just bite my tongue and not stir the pot any further. But I'm just hurt and confused. My relationship with my brother has been strained since and it's taking a toll on me. I just need outside opinions cause I'm genuinely confused about whether or not I'm the a-hole in this whole mess. Update. I talked with my mom to better understand the situation and she said my sister-in-law worded it wrong but maybe she just wanted gratitude for helping my brother out cause being a parent isn't easy. I understand that I reacted to her messages wrong when I could have just said a simple thank you, but neither I or my mom understand why she was so aggressive towards me in her texts. The aggression is what made me become so defensive. I found out from my siblings and my mom that my brother only paid for the tickets and the accommodations, that my eldest brother is the one who provided the pocket money for food and buying stuff on the trip, and that my siblings chipped in but didn't want the credit since my brother wanted this trip to be like a thank you for helping them out so much with their kids over the years and that he had cleared it with his wife and she had given him the go-ahead. She also told me that he had asked sister-in-law if she wanted to come with us on the trip and leave their kids with my mom, who was fine with that, but she declined as she and I aren't close, and it would have been weird for both of us. My mom told me that my brother actually asked her to check in every day with sister-in-law to make sure all was well and to see if she needed anything. She also said my brother asked sister-in-law's sisters to check on her as well. It turns out sister-in-law had taken the week off of work, and for 4 out of the 7 days we were in Scotland, she dropped her kids off at my mom's. The other 3 days, when my mom called, sister-in-law said she had her sisters with her and didn't need any help, so what the hell was she so mad about? It's clear to me that she wasn't abandoned by my brother, as some of you suggested. My siblings initially wanted just to keep the peace, but after I showed them my sister-in-law's texts, they were surprised and appalled by her words. They thought this whole thing was a simple misunderstanding and now understand that it had become bigger and that my brother and I aren't talking. My sister decided to investigate and called my brother to understand what happened, and it turns out my sister-in-law told him that my mom and siblings didn't check in on her at all and that the kids were upset their dad left them and were throwing tantrums all the time and that this wasn't what they had agreed on when he told her about the trip months ago. He was too busy trying to calm my sister-in-law down to confirm with the family whether or not it was true. My sister then asked him if he'd seen the text his wife had sent me and he said he hadn't but that sister-in-law told him she just asked me for a simple thank you for all her hard work and that I blew up at her and told her she didn't deserve anything since she didn't pay for the trip and that she was entitled. He said he was hesitant about believing that since he knows I'd never outright disrespect someone like that even if I don't get along with them but she insisted that it happened and that she had no reason to lie and as her husband she needed his support not his questioning, and that's why he sent me the text saying I needed to thank her. My sister then told my brother about everything that happened and demanded that they apologize to me and he sounded upset and told her he'll figure this out after talking to his wife. Spoiler alert, it didn't go well. Sister-in-law and my brother had a massive fight and he demanded to know why she lied and caused so much drama and she broke down and told him that he was too close to me and my siblings and that she hated how the whole family babied me and that his siblings' relationship with each other made her uncomfortable and she just wanted him to put a little distance between himself and us because her family isn't as close to each other and kept telling her our close dynamic is weird and toxic. He told her behavior is unacceptable and that she caused a rift between not only him and I but also him and the rest of his siblings as well because now they're mad at him. My brother did call me, and he apologized for doubling down on what his wife said. He said it was already tense in their house, and he was just trying to keep the peace and be supportive but he shouldn't have treated me this way when deep down he knew I wasn't at fault. He also let me know that for the time being sister-in-law will go NC with my siblings and I while they go to marriage counseling and sister-in-law goes to therapy cause her behavior wasn't normal. He sounded exhausted and defeated, and I just told him we're all here for him if he needs us. He made it clear that the NC is only for my sister-in-law and assured me he wouldn't limit his contact with me and apologized for doing so without even talking to me first. I asked him if he'd like me to reach out to her and apologize for what I said and give her a sincere thank you, but he said no, that it was never about the gratitude, to begin with, and that it's apparently a bigger issue between them that they need to figure out on their own, that we shouldn't contact sister-in-law unless she reaches out first as she doesn't want to have any contact with us. He'd also apologized for her language with me on the text, but I told him not to worry about it. Safe to say sister-in-law's relationship with us is never going to be the same again after this, and to be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of hers, but I was civil and polite to her in the past cause my brother loved her and we've never had any issues prior to this. I do feel really guilty that all this happened because of the trip planned for me, but my siblings keep telling me it's not my fault. My mom says I should have just thanked my sister-in-law and kept the peace instead of having this all blow up so much, but my siblings told her that even if I had apologized, it wouldn't have mattered as my sister-in-law would have found something else to cause a problem. But they also told me what a lot of you had mentioned in the comments, that saying thank you was the polite thing to do, and that taking care of kids full-time is not the same as babysitting them for a few hours, and it would have been good to tell her she's appreciated. But they understand that I don't have the understanding of what it means to be a parent, and that having someone basically verbally attack me wouldn't have made me reciprocate with kindness. And I get it, I was ignorant about it, and I acknowledge that. There are a lot more details, but that's the gist of it. Brother and sister's marriage is strained right now, and so is his relationship with us, but I hope that everything works out okay. I really love my brother and hate seeing him so defeated. Part of me wishes we never went on that trip because all this drama is draining.